half an hour into it, and we can already see the schmiggy coming to the surface and rust popping off those old parts. So sweet. Well, so I'm going to tap in here. I'm going to take this plug into town, match it up, and then I'm going to put a ball valve on it, and then I'm going to put a Milton style quick disconnect on it so that I can plug in shop air. So off to town I go. Okay, so $42 later, and I bought all this stuff. I hate these bags. Get out of there. All these fun little adapters to plumb in that. I wonder where the dog went. Oh, he's right here. I thought he was gone. Hi. You heard the dog and know you are one? Hello, buddy boo. It's not an adventure unless you got a sidekick, right, buddy? Yes. Very cute. But at any rate, YouTube, now I'll be able to diagnose where all the air leaks are without running the engine. So that's super cool. Okay, so we got shop air plugged in, and it's going to make diagnosing leaks a heck of a lot easier than running the whole diesel and all that racket and whatnot. Okay, so let's air up the system and look for leaks, or listen for them. Boy, we can tell this one's just a huge leak. So we know that's leaking, so let's turn off the pressure here. It's easier to work on this system when the sun isn't out, because then the contrast isn't as high. You can hear some other leaks inside here, but that hose goes to this one right here. Who knows what it does? But let's cut the darn thing. I can get my arm on it. There we go. Let's pull it through. Let's figure out where this stupid thing goes on the other side, huh? Okay, it goes up to an output on the braking treble pedal. So I think the best way to fix that leak is just to pull off that fitting. I don't know if you can see it. It is this one right up there. Hopefully the camera's picking it up. Pull that fitting off and plug it. Okay, so this is the brake reservoir. Goes down in T's. This is the rear master cylinder or power cluster. This is an air brake side. This is just a hydraulic side. And so this reservoir feeds this, and then there's another hose. Can you follow it? Can you see it? And it goes over to the other side, and that's the power cluster for the front axle. Well, anyway, the reservoir is so rusty that I'm going to pull it off, and I'm going to do a trick that I did a couple of years ago using soda ash and current to de-rust the darn thing. So you could, anyway, so I'm taking the parts off to do just that, and it's kind of slow going. So just getting this off. This line is completely dry, so I'm going to get that side off, and I'll get this reservoir off, and then we're going to take a poke, if we got time today, into the master cylinders and see what they look like, at least this one on this side. So if you can see it, this brake line right here is twisting as I'm twisting off the end there, and so we're going to end up replacing this line too. Okay, rather than keep fighting that line, I just cut it. So now what I can, in order to get this thing off, I've got to pull this bolt nut here, and then I got to spin this rascal off on the bottom, and then it'll, if you can see, it'll come straight up, and then I can get to cleaning the reservoir. But it looks like I'm probably going to end up replacing or flushing the darn lot of lines out, and I'd be willing to bet I'm going to be replacing a lot of components on the brake system to get it to work. Thankfully, I know where to go for those components at this point, so it'll just be expensive and sad if I have to replace them all. It is what it is. So since my last video, I did indeed go off and buy a full set of ratcheting SAE combo wrenches with a flex head. People told me, well, Mark told me I'd hate the flex head, and I said, you know, I've never tried them, so no. The mosquitoes are out instantly. No, they're not out. They're on. They're on me. Biting me in about 5 different places at once right now. These are the annoying daylight ones. The night ones are worse. I have a feeling that at some point I'm going to wish that it was a tiny little man that I could crawl into this thing. Ooh. Is that on there? Let's find out. Oh, come on. That's everything I got. That's everything I got. Oh, I think I just stripped it out, son of a gun. Wow, really? Okay. For the protection of the camera, it's coming out. Protect the camera. Okay, so as you can see, the inside of the master cylinder's reservoir is just rusty. It should be shiny metal. But the designers, and I suspect that this is a Bendix system, the designers did something smart. You see that pipe thread that comes up? At least it's not sucking everything off of the bottom. And so you see a fair amount of sediment. I've already drained this, but you see a fair amount of sediment sitting on the bottom. So hopefully that sediment didn't get sucked down through into the master cylinders, but we will find out. Worst case scenario, the power clusters, or the master cylinders, are about $600 a throw. So that may end up being a $1,200 project just to get there. And then, hey, if we're talking all the way down, besides removing the wheels all the way around, each one of the brake calipers is going to be about $400 if I have to send those out to be rebuilt. They can't just order new parts. I have to send the ones I have out to get rebuilt. So we will find out. All right, YouTube, here we go. If the girls don't find you handsome, you can always tell them you got big sockets. You know, I think I'm going to take a air compressor and quick blow around the stuff off around this before I let it in. It's completely dry and looks boogered up. Never a good thing. Completely dry and looks boogered up. Well, that's just for giggles. We might find out where a leak is going. That took an entire, how much? 12 fluid ounces right there. Blub, blub, blub. Anyway, I bought a case of synthetic brake .3 brake fluid from Lucas. Lucas stuff has, as far as the kind of regular .3 stuff goes, it has the longest interval change time. So that's why I went with it. And this system is .3 only. Look at that. It's dripping into something. I guess this is the rear, so I guess I'll find out if I suddenly got brake fluid dripping. Anyway, we'll find out if suddenly I got leaky bits down at the caliper on the rear axle. I'm going to put the cap back on, and then I'm going to cap this thing off, try to cap it off from atmosphere so I don't allow any more moisture in to the system that's already there and promote more rust. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I didn't have the right size sealing cap, so I used a sandwich bag and the rubber binder trick. Let's go look at the other side, see if it's as bad. Okay, since the other side of this brake line has already been cut, I thought I'd save myself some hassle factor. And oh, there is some brake fluid in this. Good. I thought I'd cut the other side. Into the bucket you go. I don't know if I'm going to replace that with a hard line or not, but let's see if we can't get this guy off with the... Oh, here comes the swarm. The swarm has found me again. Oh, oh. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Yeah, the other tight. See what I'm doing here. Okay. All right. This is where the busted knuckles comes from. Oh, there we go. Mechanics would always rather pull rather than push, and here I am pushing because, well, that's what I have to do. What's going on with this? I may end up having to buy a noose. This thing is just maybe too cheap. Let's get same thing as what I did on the other side. I want to blow out that crap. Plug this up. Alright, I expect to see probably a lack of fluid in here too, huh? Dry as a bone, that is discouraging. Well, we know from experience it takes 12 ounces to fill one of these things on up. This is another, where do these wires go? And it's busy doing the burp, 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 burp too. All right. Okay. I'm gonna have to get a new gasket for this guy. There we go. I'm spinning it backwards so until I feel that first thread catch. That's what I'm doing there. I'm not forgetting which way to turn it. And well, that's discouraging. All right, well, we know we're going to need some brake parts, hydraulic brake parts. Let's hope that when we hit this part with air, they try to work. Otherwise, I'm going to be replacing these guys. Hey, YouTube, so I'm getting into the brakes, and at this point, I'm going to have to take a pause. At this point, I want to clean out the rust from the reservoir and get some replacement brake lines. Right sized, going down to the power clusters. Finish fixing the biggest holes in the air braking system, so at least I can start trying to exercise the master cylinders. Don't know if the master cylinders will work. Don't know if the power clusters will work. But so I know what parts to order. I want to try to exercise those before I get the whole system working. So anyway, if you like what you see, then give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, certainly subscribe, because this is going to be a project. All right, till we meet again, YouTube. Bye-bye. So if you're anything like me, you stand in front of the microwave going, hurry up. So here's the condensed version of how to do electronic rust removal. Okay, for new subscribers or those who have forgotten the last time I did this, I'm going to give you a quick tour of what we got going on here. First, number one reason to have our really stupid chargers for doing fun stuff like this where you're going to just violate laws, okay? So what we've got here is a cathode and an anode, and we're going to do rust transfer from the cathode, and it's going to go on to our anode. I've put in some water. I mixed in some soda ash. The soda ash just allows the water to conduct electricity even better. And I've got the reservoir and the reservoir cap touching the cathode, okay? There is a rock that is separating out the reservoir from the bottom of the anode. And so now what we do is we turn this thing on up to crank. Actually, I think I want to go to hold. Yeah, there we go. Hold. Okay. So, maximum, well, 40 amp crank. And then we just go away for hours, and we come back later. So anyway, good reason to have kind of an old style dummy charger is for doing fun stuff like this. A smart charger would go, hey boss, I can't, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? They won't let you do that. Also, sometimes if you got old batteries, you can get them to go if you can give them about 5 volts, and then the smart charger will come back and save them. So anyway, just things to know. For those of you who don't know, soda ash is just super washing soda. Do not go out of the internet and spend $1 zillion. Go down to the sudsy aisle at your grocery store and fork out, what is it, $1, $2, $3 for a box of this. It'll last you a long time. I've got 3 boxes. I'm still on my first one. It's going through the stuff that it's touching the stuff I want to de-rust, and that rust is flinging itself through electrolysis fluid, which is the water and soda ash mix. You know, I might let it go for days, depending on how fast it cleans up, but I'm going to let it go for as long as it needs to go to clean up. Anyway, for those of you who have not seen me do this before, or who have subscribe since I did it last time or just didn't know, there you go. There's your 2-minute version of what everybody else on the internet takes. Like, no, it's complicated. No. So you hook up, you stick 2 things of metal into the water. They have to be poking out of the water, right? You clamp on your dumb battery charger. You make sure the stuff you derust is touching the positive side, and you make sure that the negative side is going into the water but not touching anything that's to get derusted or the positive side. And you stick a little soda ash in there, and that makes your electrolysis happen faster, allows the current to get transferred a little better. So there you have it. Your how to derust a part in 2 minutes. Let's get to it.